Hey everyone, welcome back to Tuckaway Pines. Today we are outside enjoying this beautiful weather. It is so nice and sunny and you can hear the birds chirping. It's so nice. But I figured today would also be a good day to bring you guys along and show you what's been growing outside. I know like maybe a week or two ago I posted a video on our indoor planting update, what's been growing inside the house. Today I want to show you guys what's been growing outside the house. And I was also thinking, because I've been trying to do monthly update videos of just kind of generally what's been going on the homestead each month. And I know it's a little late for the month of May, but since May has been so focused on planting itself primarily, that I was going to lump these two videos as the outdoor update video and our monthly update video for May. But with that being said, let's get on with it and I will show you guys around a little bit. The first stop here, we have two elderberry varieties. One's a Nova and one's a Ranch. And we got these actually from our local orchard, which was really cool. Still very young, so it'll take maybe a couple years for them to really, start bushing out and producing. But it's exciting, and this area is kind of off away from the house. So in case there's any, predators, I don't know if we have bear up here. I know that, but I don't know if bear really go after the elderberries more, because we have raspberries and I'll show you guys those, so I'm sure they'll be more apt to go towards the raspberries and the elderberries. Maybe you guys would have experience with that. Leave it in the comments, because that'd be really interesting to know. But regardless of the matter, it's away from the house, so we can be kind of safe that way. We want to kind of keep things not super close, certain items not super close because of that factor, or growing conditions and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to turn the camera around and show you guys our little elderberries. So here's one elderberry variety. I believe this is the Nova variety. You can kind of see it's right there with the little pointed leaves. It's very short. I currently have it in this tomato cage wrapped with chicken wire to protect it from any bunnies or anything. I don't know if anything would really nibble on it. So far the rest of our stuff has been pretty good, but just to be safe. But yeah, just to kind of zoom in a little bit, it's that little with the pointy leaves there. So it is growing nicely. It's just we need to wait and give it time to grow into a nice bush. Then over here we have the Ranch variety, I believe. I have it sitting the same way, wrapped in chicken wire, just to keep it safe. But this one's doing very well. You can see all the leaves on there, nice and green. It's a little stick and it's got two shoots coming up. And then we also have this lilac bush. My mom actually got this for me when she came to visit. It's really pretty. And the cool thing about this one, it likes to bloom during the spring and the fall. So once it gets mature enough, we'll enjoy double the lilacs. Okay, so that is our little elderberry patch, if you will, and our little lilac tree. I think the next area I'm going to take you is towards the front of the house. We decided to plant some watermelon, not cucumbers, watermelon, cantaloupe, and pumpkins, kind of in an interesting way, nothing too crazy. But they're not going to be in the main crop garden because they like to vine out. Take up a lot of space, and we have so many other things growing in there that we needed to kind of think of another spot for them. And towards the front of our house, we have kind of like a hill. So we thought it would be kind of clever to plant them on top of the hill and then have them vine down as they grow. So And I wasn't sure if I should put a fencing around them, because like I said before, a lot of our stuff that we have kind of out seems to be pretty well protected for the most part, or hasn't been messed with too much. So I don't think there's too much of a threat. I will keep my eye on things though, and if I have to build like a little pen or whatever, then I will. I got plenty of chicken wire and stuff for it, so. But like I said, I'm going to show you the different varieties. They're young. They've just recently been planted, so they're still setting themselves in. But yeah, so here, let me show you. So over here we have some watermelon, and I mulched each where each plant's sitting, so it's kind of better to notice them, since this is still kind of a grassy area itself, and I don't want them to get lost in the weeds. So, but here I have technically 2 watermelon plants, so if one doesn't make it, I didn't want to fiddle with them too much, so I just put 2 of them in there. These are the Sugar Baby watermelon variety, so I believe they're a smaller variety. I have to double check, but yeah, they sounded kind of cute, sweet, so we'll see. And then if I pan over this way, I have another one, another Sugar Baby watermelon. And then over here we have some cantaloupe. I have Sierra Gold is the variety here. I got 2 plants in there. They're a little small yet, so I'm hoping they take. Hoping for the best there. Okay, on the other side of the hill here, we have jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. We have one, he's doing pretty good, vining out. Might think of a trellising kind of idea for these. Maybe that'll help them kind of grow and stay off the ground and produce their fruit better. This one here is a Howden pumpkin, so it's a little smaller than a jack-o'-lantern, but still good carving size, I believe. We have 2 of those actually, so the other one is right here. And then over here we have a couple more watermelon. This is a different variety. It is a Crimson Sweet watermelon. So I think comparable to your like store watermelons. So that should be interesting there. And we have another one of those right here. And I have 2 plants in each spot, so technically there's 4. But hopefully they all make it, because that'll be pretty neat. And then last but not least for this section, we have more Sierra Gold cantaloupe. This one's looking a little better. I have 2 of them in this hole as well. So hopefully at least one of them makes it so we can enjoy some nice cantaloupe. So that's as far as like produce that's growing up front. We do have a little like flower garden going, and actually I kind of want to show you something really neat. We have tons of yarrow growing, and if you guys don't know what yarrow is, it's a pretty wild flower, but it's also a medicinal herb. And I do plan on once everything's in the ground and things kind of calm down with planting and I can just wait for things to grow, I do want to do a little series on like a plant walk series on like different medicinal herbs that we're growing and what we can do with them and how they benefit us and stuff like that. So look forward to that coming up maybe in the next month or so. But anyway, we have tons of wild yarrow, and there's actually a little patch that's growing. I'm sorry, Corey's working in the garage right now. There's a little wild patch of yarrow growing right here, and we decided to kind of keep it growing. It's actually in the corner, a little flower garden, so it's in a perfect spot. And I'll kind of show you what it looks like. It hasn't flowered yet, but I'll show you what that looks like. So here's a patch of wild yarrow, which is growing really tall. And I don't know if it's going to be a white flower or a yellow flower, because that's typically what you see growing in the wild. And it stretches all the way to the other side of the stump here, which is kind of neat. And I actually ended up buying some yarrow from the store before realizing I had wild yarrow, and it's actually a purple flower, so I'll show you guys that because that's really gorgeous. So here's that purple yarrow that I was talking about. It's a little smaller. I think it's more oriental, but it does hold medicinal properties like the wild varieties. And I do have more of this in the backyard, which I'll show you guys, but it is very beautiful, and there's so many flower heads on it already. So yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. Otherwise, as far as our little flower garden, besides a ton of weeds, we need to get in here and weed this, but we just have a little grouping of mini sunflowers. We have some lilies that are getting ready to blossom soon. You can kind of see them in there. And then we just recently got this Japanese maple, which is really, really cool. Very different. So we thought that would look nice up front here. And then, oh, another thing actually I want to show you guys is back here we've got a bunch of red twigged dogwood. You can kind of see the sticks of them, like the stems are red, and then it produces a really pretty white flower once it matures. We got a bunch of those spread out through the property. Here's another one. These will help bring in deer and stuff like that, because we like to see our deer friends still in the yard, as long as they don't eat our food. So we provide food for them. So that's that for our little medicinal flower garden there. I don't know if I want to turn it strictly into medicinal or just kind of have things mixed around. I kind of like having things spread about and having different sections of multiple things, like have some yarrow here, yarrow over there. So that'll be pretty neat. We'll see as, you know, we get more stuff, because we're always buying plants. And so we're always buying plants. And the last thing I want to show you guys up front here is one of our apple trees. I believe it was the end of April, if not early May. We went to our local orchard, the same place we got our elderberries from, and we picked up 2 varieties of apple trees. And one of them is up front here. It is an enterprise variety. It's a semi-dwarf, so it'll probably only grow like, I don't know, 10, 15 feet, 12 to 15 feet, something like that. So, and I think it'd be perfect up front here, because there would be room to grow for it, but I think just being relatively close to the house, it works out for us. So, but I will turn the camera around and just give you a little sneak peek of that. So here is our apple tree. It's doing really well, actually. Got some fresh leaves coming on pretty much all the branches, all the way down. We have this white tubing around it to kind of protect it from pests and critters and stuff like that, so keep the rootstock protected. But yeah, it's looking really, really good. So like I said, that is pretty much it for the front. Then I showed you guys the elderberries. I think next I'm going to take you over. Let's see, where do I want to show you next? Oh, we got some flowers over here. I guess I can show you guys. Nothing super exciting, just a little flower section. Actually, this section, when we first moved in here, was a raspberry patch. Or, I'm sorry, not a raspberry patch, a rhubarb patch. And I tried to dig most of it out and move it back towards where our raspberries are. And again, I'll show you guys that a little later. But I missed a couple rhubarb chunks, because you got to dig all the root out and everything. So we got some rhubarb growing out here too. And I got a variety of flowers and a cute little pine tree. So let me show you guys that. So here's a chunk of the rhubarb that I missed. Most of it spanned all the way through here. So there was a good section. So I got a lot of it out. I'm pretty impressed. And then I have an iris here growing, which is pretty neat. Actually, a co-worker's wife gave me a bunch of plants, and I'll show you more of those, but this was one of them, an iris. Well, she gave us 3, and I ended up dividing them up, so I spread them about. Here's our little baby pine tree. It's a dwarf blue spruce. We've had it for a couple years. We actually brought it with us from Milwaukee when we moved. It's cute. And then right next to it we have a nice bush of bleeding hearts. They finished blooming, but they do produce such a beautiful pink flower. And it literally looks like a bleeding heart. So we have a bunch of those kind of spread about as well. And then we got a couple little clusters of rhubarb that again I missed. Nothing too crazy though. So like I said, I'm pretty impressed with myself. And then we have another iris. Again, I'm not sure what color these are going to produce. I think a blue is what she said. But, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. It's a surprise. So that's that for that little garden patch. We have another one here, very small. And this is actually where the other pink euro is hanging out. We do have some bulbs mixed here, but they've bloomed already. They've gone down. Mixture of daffodils and some tulips. And that's another thing. We have tulips spread about all over the place. But again, they've finished blooming. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I'll show you the yarrow. And then we also have a Great Eastern... Oh, the bird sounds so beautiful. We also have a Great Eastern white pine growing here as well. We got that maybe earlier this month, so in May. And we planted it here. And I'll kind of explain why just a little more in depth when I show you. So this really cool rock was on the property when we moved here. And... ooh, the bird. I'm sorry. So pretty. But we had some daffodils on both sides of the rock, kind of in front of the pink yarrow. You can kind of see. And this is blooming a little bit better than the one up front, I'd say, because I think it just gets a little bit more sunlight, but it is in the shade. So consider that if you do plant yarrow. But so beautiful. Here's another cluster here. Looking so nice. And then, like I said, we have a Great Eastern white pine. It's a little guy, but he's growing. Since planting him in the ground, actually you could see there's a lot of new growth, which is really, really nice. And these trees get really, really tall, you know, once they fully mature. And we thought this would be a really good spot for it because you see there's a pine tree directly behind it. And it is kind of on its way out. Part of it is still living, like the very top. I know the sun's kind of bright, sorry. But there's needles up top, but it is on its way out. So by the time the Great Eastern white pine gets any sort of substantial height, the one behind it's going to be gone. So thought that'd be a nice kind of replacement for it. So that's that, I think, for this side of the property. I do have to go back and show you one of our patches that we have going kind of set back. But I want to kind of show you what's close to the house first and then work our way back. And I think next stop is the strawberry patch. I love my strawberry patch. It is kind of like a little bit of pride and joy. I know the main crop garden is too, but it's just like a little slice of just paradise or something. I don't know. It's different. So it's really neat. And we recently weeded it. Well, Corey mainly did. But I kind of just decorated it, made it look nice. But anyway, recently got it kind of looking good, all cleaned up, so you can kind of see everything that's growing. And yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So here is my strawberry and chive patch. Like I said, everything is growing really, really good. Let's see if I can show you down here. Strawberries are starting to run, actually. We got flowers on the chives. I want to do a little harvest for these too. And I think I'll enter those into the plant walk series. So I think that might be my first video. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, like I said, the strawberries are starting to run out here. It's kind of cool. It's just nice seeing this area really fill up. A little mushroom house back there. But we have plenty of berries forming. I'll have to point one out to you guys here. Oh, here's a nice cluster actually. Let's see. Right in there, yeah. So I have to keep my eyes over here so I can pick some strawberries. Corey planted a couple little flowers in here just to throw some color in. I think they're very beautiful. My little gnome chilling back there. So that is that for the strawberry patch. It just, I don't know, I love it. It's like a little fairy garden or something. But yeah, so I just got to keep my eyes out for those strawberries because they're coming. They're coming quick. And like I said, I just need to do, the chives are growing pretty good. I need to cut them back a little bit, harvest them, and I want to show you guys that. And that might be my first edition for the plant walk series because chives are very beneficial and more beneficial than I think a lot of people think or know. So we'll talk about that soon. So keep your eyes open for that. Oh, also what's planted along the strawberry patch, I have a couple items I actually almost forgot about. That red twig dogwood that we have out front, we planted some back here as well. It looks really, really nice. It's doing really good. And then we have some more flowers off to the other side. I'll just show you guys that quick. And we actually got potatoes growing. So here, let me just show you. So we have 3 bushes of the red-twigged dogwood, bush or shrub. But yeah, growing really, really nicely. You can see the nice red twigs, hence the name. It's one. I have another one right here. Looking so nice. And this is part sun, part shade, so it seems to be thriving really well. And the stuff out front is also part sun, part shade, so... But I think I've seen them grow in full sun, so either way I think it's good. Now for the other side of the strawberry patch, I have a very large tub of red Lesotho potatoes. Now we have tons of potatoes growing, and I'll show you, they're in multiple containers, and I'll show you that as we go along. But here's one of them, and yeah, hopefully they start sprouting soon. And then right next to it we have our mystery iris, another mystery iris from my friend. Very excited. I hope at least next year we'll be able to enjoy its full bloom. We have a variety of hostas on the property. You can actually kind of see there's 2 different types growing together here. Green leaf and a green and white leaf. We like our hostas. They're hardy, they're very beautiful, and they're good fillers. Here's more of those lilies. Hopefully they bloom soon. They're doing really well here. We got a cluster there, a little one here, another good cluster here doing so well. I unfortunately don't know the name of this guy here, but he is a very beautiful flower. Once he blooms, every little rosette you kind of see there, that'll produce a flower. And actually the honeybees and the bumblebees love this guy. They are literally like crowding the flower. There's more bees than flowers on here sometimes, so it's really exciting to see. And it is similar to a hosta. You can kind of divide them up. I think it's almost like a succulent, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's that for that little section there. I think next I'm going to take you over to the far side of the shed. We have stuff growing on both sides of our shed, but this area I kind of unofficially deemed the perennial garden. I mean, we have perennials growing all over the place, but and there's a little bit of medicinal stuff growing in here. And I don't know, things are just kind of spread about wherever it looks best, wherever it fits right, and wherever the lighting works for it the most. And I think obviously over time things are going to change, kind of move around a little bit, and we'll slowly gain more planting spots. Like I eventually want to build a couple raised beds in certain areas and stuff like that. So, you know, it's always a journey, and we're always just still figuring it out. So. But for our, I guess, quote-unquote perennial garden for now, we have a wide variety of things, and yeah, let me just show you guys. Okay, so this is another garden we have to weed yet, so there's a lot going on in here. But to start, again, at our local orchard, we also picked up 2 varieties of asparagus. This variety, you can kind of see it's starting to send off little shoots here. We have typically you want to give it a year or 2 to really establish before you can really harvest any substantial shoots. But we got a couple of them here, and I believe this variety is the Jersey Night variety. Behind it, we have another one of those plants I cannot remember the name of, but it's, again, doing really well here. This is full sun. So here in this pot, this is also from my friend. She gave us a bunch of stuff again, but this is called an Egyptian walking onion. It's a perennial. It's, I guess, considered a bunching onion, if you will, a table onion maybe, but it's very delicious. It's got such a nice mild oniony flavor, so if you don't like that strong potent flavor, this might be a good alternative. Again, this is the Egyptian walking onion because they will walk. You can kind of see the little white flowers on top. That's kind of like a root shooting out. Here, let me zoom in here. You can kind of see how there's a vine kind of growing out of this white flower. This will kind of weigh down and it'll kind of re-root itself, and that's essentially it walking. So it'll just kind of come up, come back down, and then just keep spreading. So we'll have to harvest some of those as well, but they are very delicious. And then here we have some tulips spread about in here. They've finished blooming, so they're not looking so pretty. I recently planted some German chamomile here, so hopefully that'll do well over here. That's a nice medicinal herb to have, good for teas and stuff. Over here we have a foxfire, I believe it is called. It produces this beautiful pink kind of cone-like flower. So we got that. Another bush of bleeding hearts in the back here. So beautiful. Again, pretty pink flowers. I recently picked up some lavender. My friend gave me some, and unfortunately it didn't make it, so I found a really good deal and I picked some up. Then here we have some marshmallow that she gave me, and this is another medicinal herb. It's good to have. Unfortunately, I need to look a little more into it before I can really play with it, but we'll learn about that on our series together. And then we have a very large lilac bush, or tree if you will. Finished blooming, so things are looking a little brown, but doing very well. We have several of these on the property. They were here when we moved here, so it's kind of nice. They smelled so terrific when they were in bloom. And then down here we have another cluster of asparagus. Now this is a purple variety. It's called the Purple Passion. And actually it's doing a little bit better than the Jersey Nights. We were told that these actually take probably a year to establish, whereas the others take about 2 years or so. So we'll be able to enjoy these next year, hopefully. But yeah, they produce this weird little wispy kind of plant their first couple of years, just to kind of establish themselves, I guess. I'm not sure. But it was really nice to see them send up shoots right away. It's really cool. So that's for our perennial garden. And actually just a little jaunt over here, we have our second apple tree we picked up from our orchard. This one's a standard size, so it's going to grow full height, about 25 feet or so, somewhere around there. This is called Wolf River, and I guess it's a really good variety, very delicious, large apples as well, very juicy. But yeah, this one's doing very, very well. You can see all the fresh leaves on it, fresh growth. Doing so nice here. It's also got that little piece of tubing to protect its rootstock and stuff. So, but again, doing really good. And actually, another little jaunt over down this way, a little further, we ended up picking up a birch tree. It's a paper birch tree, to be more specific, from our same orchard. The other trees that we got, the apple trees and such, they were bare root. Same with the red twig dogwood. We got that from our orchard. I don't know if I mentioned that. But when we went to go pick up the birch tree, they didn't have any bare roots. They had this one was already potted. But that's okay. It's doing really well. The only difference with bare roots and potted plants is the bare roots, it's the whole root system, whereas typically when it's initially bare root and then they go to pot it, they have to cut those roots back to fit into whatever pot they put it in. So it kind of, I don't want to say it stunts your plant or anything, but it's nice to have the whole root system because it'll dig in more and establish a little bit faster. So just a little, tidbit there. But again, paper birch tree, it's doing really good. If you haven't noticed, we're surrounded by pine trees, and we do love it. We love the seclusion, the privacy and stuff. But we kind of want to start getting in the tree diversity. So we've noticed there's some maple trees growing. We're going to make a point to kind of keep those protected so they kind of make it to maturity. There's actually a couple of oak trees we've noticed, so we're going to keep our eyes on those. And we've been slowly, it's going to be a long-term project, if you will, but we have been slowly thinning out these pine trees, whatever's dead, standing, whatever's fallen, and kind of open up more space for the new growth and eventually put more trees in. So, but yeah, let me show you this paper birch. So here's our birch. It's got a good amount of leaves. It looks like it's doing really, really good. I don't know, maybe a year or two old, not sure on the age of the tree, but again, another tube just to protect it. But yeah, it is doing very, very good. And we thought this is a good spot for it. It has plenty of room to grow a nice area. It's a little offset from the tree line, so it can bush out eventually. And again, you can kind of see these pine trees, they'll eventually have to go. So by the time the birch is any substantial height, these will be gone. So yeah, we tried to plan the placement as best as we could for long term, because especially when it comes to trees, it wouldn't be fair to the tree to have to redig it up. So, yeah. Okay, so that is that for this half of the property. So we got two sides down. Next, I'm going to kind of start moving in towards the middle. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been holding off on the main crop garden. I don't know, maybe save the best for last. Maybe. But anyway, I'm going to kind of show you around the perimeter of our shed. I have a lot of different containers of a variety of things. So I'll just kind of give you a tour of that. So here is where I have most of my potatoes. We are growing 4 different varieties. The one I showed you before is the Lesotho Red. This one here is a Yukon Gold. And then I have another one here. It's a Russet Narcota potato. Most of these are going to be in grow bags like this, which are really neat. I actually purchased them off of Amazon. Came in a 6-pack, so I have 6 of these going. And it's really cool. They have the little the little door here where you can just open up your little flap and dig out your potatoes instead of having to dump out a whole container like I will with that one. So I can leave the link in the description if anyone is interested in maybe investing in some of these. But also I heard that they are good for other, root vegetables or plants like tomatoes and peppers. So yeah, just throwing that out there. I'll leave a link if anyone is interested. Then over here I have another variety. This is the Kennebec potato. Again, in one of these grow bags, doing really well so far. I actually have potatoes that are sprouting down the way, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. This here is my green stalk. It's just a tiered garden. I got it from the company Green Stalk, but it's really neat. It's got several pockets. You can get kind of different varieties, like different styles, if you will. Comes in different sizes and stuff. But this year I am growing my culinary herbs in here. So I have sage, I have different types of basil. I got some sweet basil growing. I got some, I believe this is Greek dwarf basil going. Everything's doing really good. I planted some parsley. I planted a variety of lettuces and spinach. Little sprouts in there, I believe. This thing even turns. It's really neat. I have it on a turn, like little stand, so I can spin it around. I have sage growing. I just planted some cilantro in here. More basil. I got different types of lettuce going. We have tons of dill. Got a bunch of dill here. And then we have more chives on the bottom. So plenty of chives to go around. Again, I said parsley. That's that for the green stalk here. I have 2 more tiers I could add on, so it could be pretty tall. And plant some more stuff as we go. But so far so good. And then along the shed here I have some lemon balm, which this is very nice for teas. It's good for keeping like bugs away and stuff like that. I'll actually I'll take a leaf like towards the bottom of it. I'll rip a leaf off and I'll kind of rub it on my ankles and my wrists, so I'll kind of put that smell out so nothing bothers me. And then here I have some lemon thyme. That's growing really nicely and it smells terrific. That's another thing with most of these things in these little pots. These are from my friend. She gave me, again, a ton of stuff. So she gave me a bunch of lemon balm, some thyme, those walking onions. She gave me tons of mint. I have mountain mint going. There's a variety of that. I have chocolate mint going here she gave me. It's probably my favorite because it smells like Girl Scout Thin Mints or something. It smells so good. This one here is peppermint, you know, your traditional peppermint, which is very nice and strong. And then this one here is spearmint, so both peppermint and spearmint. I have a mojito mint, so, you know, make some nice drinks with that. And then last but not least for the mints is pineapple mint, which was really different, never heard of it, but it smells amazing. It's got like that citrusy hint to the mint smell. So, and then for our potatoes, we have some russet Norcotas coming up, looking really good. They're coming up, and this is another grow bag, so yeah, they're doing phenomenal. And then if we pan over, we got some Yukon Golds coming up as well, all over, so that's really exciting to see. I have a bucket here. It's got holes drilled in the bottom of it for drainage, but some russets. I planted these a little later, so give them a little longer. I'm sure they'll come. And then here I have, this is not necessarily potato, but it's called a Jerusalem artichoke. Again, I got this from my friend. Never had it before, never worked with it, never even heard of it. But I like growing new things, so we'll give it a shot. And she gave me a warning, and it's kind of funny because she says they're called fartichokes. So be warned when consuming. But otherwise, yeah, it's, I guess, essentially almost like a potato. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on that guy. And then we have some Yukon Golds, more of those. We bought a lot of seed potatoes, so I needed to plant them and stuff. And then here we got more redwood sodas. Nothing yet though, but that's okay. And then last but not least for our potatoes, we have a bunch of Kennebec potatoes coming up. These were our first bloomers for the potatoes, so got a nice head start, doing really well. And I'm excited. I can't wait to harvest potatoes. I recently picked this guy up. It's a culinary herb. It's called lemon verbena. And it's not the original pot. I actually transplanted it yesterday, but it's, again, got a nice lemony scent to it, almost like a lemon balm in a way. But it's good. I believe it has medicinal properties. I'll have to look more into that, and we'll learn more about that together too, because that's exciting. Otherwise, I just have some coneflowers or ignatia growing. That's also very medicinal. That's good for respiratory illnesses. More of that plant I don't know the name of. Again, we got that. We actually have another one over there. Nice big bush of it. I have some rosemary growing here too. I couldn't fit it in my green stalk, so I had to put it in a little pot and place it close by. And then I got some white roses. This rose bush is actually growing really well. This is the second year. I purchased it last year and planted it. And this year it is just taking control. So, and these are also medicinal as well. Roses are very medicinal, and we'll talk more about that as well and what we can use for it. So, alrighty, so that is the side of the shed here. You kind of see a little sneak peek of the main crop garden. But before we dive in there, I have a couple other things planted just a little bit around the garden. First, I have my peppers over here. I have some in a pot, and then I also have some in a, I don't know, like a little makeshift raised bed. It's more or less to kind of add to the structure of this little mini greenhouse my mom actually got me. It's really cute. I love it, and it works really well for the peppers because they like the warmth. And sometimes the nights get a little chilly up here in northern Wisconsin, but No, they seem to be doing really good, and I'll show you here. So in this pot, I have some cayenne long peppers. Seem to be doing pretty good. Those are also very medicinal as well, and obviously good for culinary purposes. And then here's my little greenhouse that my mom got me. So cute. And in here I have a bunch of different plants, or like pepper plants. I got some California Wonder green bells. I have some jalapeno peppers, a couple varieties there. And then we have some orange bell peppers too. So that will be neat. And I actually have a couple more pepper plants in some pots close to the garden. I'm going to show you guys that here. So I just have a variety of pots just along the garden fence here. I have some little carrots growing, well, planted. They're not growing yet. Hopefully they will soon. Got baby carrots there. Here I have a yellow bell pepper. I believe they're called Sunbright peppers. So nice yellow bell. And then I got some Roma tomatoes here. I actually initially planted some of these in the pots here because we were going to donate some plants to a family member of ours. They weren't able to grow a garden, so I figured I'd make up some containers for them, some things they can grow in containers. And actually that's another reason why we have so many potatoes, because a couple of those were supposed to go to them too. So hopefully they come and get them because everything's growing nicely. Here we have a Numix Joe pepper. It's like a hot pepper. Never really grown it before, but sounded good, so hopefully it turns out. And then here's another California Wonder pepper, just here, green bell pepper, or it can turn red if you let it sit on the vine for a little while. On the other side here, we have a golden nugget tomato. Now this is like a little yellow cherry tomato, if you will, the size of a cherry tomato, but it's yellow. So, and that guy's doing pretty good. We have another, I believe this is the Numix Joe pepper. Another one of those. I gotta put a tag in it, but I'm pretty sure that's what that one is. Here I have some cabbage. It's a Copenhagen market cabbage. This again was supposed to go to our family members, so hopefully they come and get it soon. Here's our Sunbright pepper. Got another one of those. And then I have planted in here some Harrison carrots. I see a little sprout in there. I hope it's a carrot sprout. I don't know. Hopefully soon. Alright everybody, moment of truth. We're going into the main crop garden. Here we go. Alright, we finally made it into the main crop garden, everyone. It's so exciting. It's really nice. It feels good to see things actually growing in here. I don't know, I was just afraid that either not a lot of stuff was going to be able to be grown in here because of the space, or just with time, you know, timing, because I feel like maybe I personally got a little late start, but the weather could be a little bit of a factor, but I think mainly me. Granted, it's our first season up here, whole new climate, whole new planting season window, time frame, you know, and whole new scale, you know, never really grown anything to this scale, so this is all just full learning experience, so hope you're learning with us. But anyway, again, there's still quite a bit of stuff growing in here, and let me just show you guys. So first things first, my mom actually purchased a ton of marigolds for us because she knows that marigolds keep away bunnies and mosquitoes and stuff. So she got us a bunch of those, and her and I ended up planting them along the perimeter of the garden. Here's my little owl friend. He's supposed to scare the pests away if they make it past our marigold army. But yeah, so they're all the way around. And actually, in between the marigolds, I had planted a variety of bulbed onions. So I have like red ones, yellow ones, white ones growing in here. So hopefully those are doing really good. And I'll maybe zoom in on a nice one if I see them. But yeah, they're in between the marigolds here. But in this corner, otherwise, we have some lima beans growing. It's primarily a bush bean, but I got this little trellis here to kind of help them, just support them a little bit more in their infancy stage. Over here, we have the Roma 2 bush bean. So 2 of those, they're taking really nicely, actually. So I'm glad that's working out. And then if I take a step back, without stepping on anything here, it's kind of packed in here. We got a bunch of broccoli, you can see, and it's doing very nicely. Got a different varieties. I got Romanesco broccoli growing, and then I have the Calabrese broccoli. And this is all stuff that I planted in those newspaper pots, which I have also a video posted for. I planted things in newspaper pots to make it easier for me to plant. And everything seems to be doing good. It's just where you make a pot out of a newspaper, and then you just plop the whole thing in the ground, and it's supposed to break down. So far so good with that. Here we have more beans. I believe these are also Roma 2 beans. We have some Roma tomatoes growing here. Tons of tomatoes. I have Marglobe tomatoes. We have Subarctic Plenty tomatoes. Wisconsin 55 tomatoes. And even Sheboygan tomatoes. So sticking with the theme of Wisconsin here. We love it. We even got some small red cherry tomatoes growing, and more gold nugget tomatoes, so those little yellow guys. In the back we got, I don't know if my navy bean made it. I had a navy bean, it didn't look good. Oh well, that's fine. We got plenty more. We got Landreth bush beans there in the back. Those are doing pretty good as well. And then right next to our tomatoes, we have some bok choy. I've never grown it before, never even eaten it, but it looks good, and I got the seeds for free, so let's give it a shot. So far so good. Nice row. And right next door, I have some corn planted. Nothing sprouting yet, but I have 4 different varieties, and I also actually have some started indoors. Those are actually going to be coming out today, so we'll have corn outside. And then up front, in front of the corn, I planted some peas, so hopefully those work. If not, I got a couple more peas going, and I'll show you guys those here in a second. And then if we scooch over, we got some eggplant. I've never really grown eggplant before, but some people here like it, and that's cool. We got the room for it, and I'm excited to try it, really. It'll be interesting for sure. That's doing really good. And then this is all pretty much open space. Like I said, I got peas here. I planted some more peas, and then I have one that made it outside, but it's climbing. It's doing its thing. On the other side of the garden here, I have some more peas. These are blizzard pea. The other ones were telephone peas. The blizzard peas seem to be doing better. I planted more, but I have 4 of them that have made it outside. I have them kind of rigged up so they can grow towards the fence and kind of latch on that way. And then this is all pretty much open space. But then yesterday, I ended up planting some curly kale. So that'll be interesting. I think that'll be really delicious. It looks so good. So we got some curly kale going. In this open area here, I have a variety of root vegetables. I got some rutabagas. I have some turnips. And then I have some beet mix and radishes as well. So actually, now that I'm looking, I see radish sprouts. That's really exciting to see. So cool. I like that. Hopefully everything else comes shortly. And then over here we have some cabbage. We had a lot more, but I think I had too many planted in each cell and the roots got stressed out, so not a lot of it made it. But that's alright. We got some, and we like going to our local farmers market, so we'll go support them with that. In the back here, I have some lettuce planted, a couple different varieties of lettuce. So I'm hoping those will come up shortly. And then up front here, we have another variety of cabbage. Not that many, but that's okay. It'll allow more room to grow other things. And then this section over here, we have our cauliflower, which is doing really good, I think. Some didn't make it, but I feel like we have a good mortality rate here as far as the cauliflower goes. And then actually behind the cauliflower here, I planted some more carrots. So I'm hoping those will sprout up shortly myself too. So. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it as far as the garden goes. A little owl friend on guard. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it as far as the main crop garden goes. I do have some more corn. Like I said, I need to bring out and plant. Probably do that a little later today. But yeah, otherwise, we're pretty much up on planting. That reminds me, I do want to show you guys. I have some stuff that's sitting outside. I'm bringing it out to kind of harden it off. And I also want to build something for these guys. I have cucumbers and some gourds. And they're viney, they like to trellis up and stuff. So we have a bunch of like very thin trees that we cut down, thin pine trees. They're almost like, you'd think it's like a toothpick for a tree, So I want to maybe cut those up and make like a teepee kind of thing, and then plant the cucumbers. I want to make two, one for cucumbers, one for the gourds, but plant them at the base of each post or tree so they can climb up, and it'll be like a little, cucumber teepee or a gourd teepee. So I have a bunch of those here, and then I have a bunch of flowers out too. So we're pretty much caught up with the vegetables, except for the cucumbers, the gourds, and just a little bit of corn. And then otherwise, it's just flowers and just to decorate everything, make everything look nice. But yeah, we just wanted to make sure we got all the food in the ground because, we need that. That's a little more important than flowers for us right now. But once we get the hang of it and we get in that rhythm and the scheduling of everything, I think things will start to smooth out and kind of become more automatic. But yeah, we got that. I'll show you what these kind of look like right now, and then I'll take you to the raspberry patch. So here's everything hardening off. It's looking really nice. Here's all my gourds, and they're all in their newspaper pots. So like I said, when I go to plant them, I'll just dig a hole big enough and put the whole thing in the ground, and it'll all break down. I got a bunch of flowers here. They're actually perking up really nicely, so that'll be nice. Hopefully they bloom eventually. And then my cucumbers, they're getting a little wild, so they gotta go in the ground here. So maybe if I have time today, I'll start building that little teepee, make something up. Alrighty, last but definitely not least is my raspberry patch. Well, more or less a raspberry slash rhubarb and slash currant patch. My friend who gave me all the mint and stuff like that. Again, thank you. I'm so thankful for her. She is an amazing woman. I love her. So if you see this, thank you so much. And you know what? This episode's for you. This video is for you because you're really awesome. Good person. But anyway, she gave me some currant, and I figured I'd plant it here. It unfortunately doesn't, it's kind of looking sad to be honest with you, so I'm hoping, she said it's very hardy, so hopefully next year they'll just come back, kind of start over. But if not, I know I can always get more from her. But anyway, with the raspberries, we got the raspberries from our local orchard. I got about 5 of them. They're a Lantham variety. And I have them, if you notice, I had to walk down a nice long trail to get here. But that's because, again, with the bears, I mentioned that with the elderberries, I didn't want a big patch of berries so close to the house in case a bear were to come through. If I can, I'd want it kind of set off to the side, kind of a good distance, so the bear's over there, not over here. So, so yeah, we have 5 separate raspberry patches. They're kind of clustered in with the ferns, so I'm going to have to move some of the ferns around. And we also have rhubarb. The rhubarb that I dug up from closer to the house, the ones I kind of missed. I have most of them here, and you can see it's surprising how much I got out and didn't miss more, to be honest, because they're thriving back here. But yeah, I thought this was a nice natural open area. I just had to cut down one little tree. Otherwise, it was already naturally open and set back, so I thought this would be a perfect spot to be a patch. But yeah, let me turn the camera around and show you what's what. Okay, so like I said, we got a good variety of ferns growing back here. I might want to try and dig them up, and if I can plant them and bring them closer to the house, that'd be kind of cool. But here's one raspberry plant. And to my shock, these are growing so well. I didn't expect them to grow this well, but they just must love it back here. Because you could see like the original stick, like the top of the stick, and then you see all this new growth. Like I don't know, I think that's impressive. So we have 5 of those. One's here. We got one there. I tried to mulch them so it's easier to see them because, again, this is kind of a wild area. There's another one there. And then I have one here. And then over here, we have our monstrous rhubarb patch. It is crazy. So big. I'll be up to my ears in rhubarb, so if anyone wants any. But no, seriously though, it's really exciting because I've never dealt with rhubarb before. And like I said, when you want to like dig it out, you need to get like the whole like root base out. And I'm impressed with myself for getting most of it. So, and it's thriving. And then I'll show you the currant. It's kind of sad. I'm a little embarrassed, but they're kind of not doing so hot. I see 2 leaves that are alive still, so maybe that gives me some hope. Gives me hope that they're still there somewhere in there. Somewhere in there there's life. So yeah, that is pretty much that for everything that we're growing this season so far. A lot of stuff is perennial, so it'll just give them a year or 2 to establish, and hopefully we'll be able to really enjoy the fruits of our labor. Also, I don't think I'm going to walk all the way back there to show you guys, but there's a trail in the very back of our property line, and it's all wild blackberries and raspberries. So we also have wild berries to enjoy as well, so that's a big plus. But yeah, again, I think that's pretty much it. I'll leave the link for the potato bags in the description for you guys. I'll tag any videos that I mentioned in this video as well. And yeah, I'll just keep you guys updated on the growth of everything. And and keep you guys in the loop for that planting series, because I'm really looking forward to that. I want to learn more about the plants that I'm growing and all the plants that are around me, and I'm sure there's plenty of you guys that want to know too, so let's learn together. And yeah, so don't forget to like the video, don't forget to comment as well, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any other fun planting and learning activities we're going to be doing here on the homestead coming up. Yeah, and thank you guys again for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope everyone's gardens are very productive and are being very fruitful, nice and green, and I hope everyone's just doing really well all together. So, and Rhonda, thank you, especially to you. This video is for you, so I appreciate you. You're a godsend. Bye.